My best quality is my unwavering allegiance to myself. I know who I am. If you don't or you can't figure it out,
Good morning. How are you? Sitting on the floor today because my back hurts because I'm old. How is everybody? Good morning. Let me say hi. Oh, wait, what? Who's a new member? A publisher. That's the highest level one can attain. Thank you so much. Tis me, Krista. Thank you. That's amazing. Not expected? Always welcome. So thank you for that. That's great. I don't know what kind of what kind of perks people are going to get. Probably cat videos, but yeah, I'm sorting that out. So I want to say hi. Hello. Good morning. Talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. Lover of bad puns. Good to see you. Molly Colleen. Hello. Forrest, hello. Sup, also sup. Ski Utah. Nice to see you. As always. Let's see who. Oh, Kelly Cal. Girl, defamation. Oh, Fiend, you got your wrench back. Be responsible with it. Oh my God, soap and where you been, girl? My goodness. Yay. I switched over from the Aspen episode. I don't know what that is. Yikes. It's Utah. Dental Lovely. Welcome to the chat. I don't know if you've ever been here. JJJJ's in the house. How is everybody? Bite my baits. Hey, CH. Welcome it. Come on in. Salty, I saw you. You have some coffee. So, yes, I'm sitting on the floor because, again, back, old, whatever. Earlier, was it this week? Time is a goddamn construct, y'all. But earlier this week, I think, or last week, I don't remember, I was being critical about John Matthias and some of the things that he has done in his career that was available from public information. And I wanted to kind of revisit a few things. And I do want to talk about some, possibly, I want to make sure that people understand, and even people that would wish to bring, some sort of claim or any sort of action, that the thing that you must keep in mind when you are not even a limited public personality or limited public whatever she is or what John is, public trials, and what we're going to review today is the audio from a public trial that Lauren and John dismissed because they didn't want law and crime in the room. The American legal system is predicated on many things, but certainly our right to a public trial. Okay, that means something to me. And as you all know, I'm the world's oldest law student, and it's internet. Look, it's not this crazy ass U.S. law. It's international law, but it's the same principle. It's common law. And here in the United States, we get to face our accuser in a court, right? And that's civil. That is also criminal, obviously. And so when we review this audio, this is all publicly available. So when we think about people using terminology, or when I think about it, using terminology like defamation or stalking or libel, here's the thing that people need to keep in mind is that facts are facts. Things entered into a docket sworn to under penalty of perjury are in the public domain. That is just a fact. So I want people to understand that, Grayson, because it's been brought to my attention, unfortunately, that there's some people behind the scenes that are back to scrutinizing people like me that would just read public documents. Okay. We're not going to have any of that bullshit around here. So that's what I wanted to start off with. Now, I will be injecting my opinion because everybody's got a right to their opinions. Okay. But I wanted to revisit, what do you want to do first? Audio, or do you want to read through some of the documents? Because I think that one of the things that struck me is that a lot of people maybe have read Dr. John's affidavit that is filed publicly. And again, in the description of this video is a link to all of the public documents. Okay. All of the public documents, right? So if you want to look it up, look it up. But I think the more interesting thing to start with is Christina's, and that's what this is about, right? This, in my opinion, demonstrably asinine attempt civil stalking injunction that was meant to chill public speech. It just was, in my opinion. There's things called SLAP, strategic litigation, right, against public participation. These things are done, whether it's, and this is for anybody, right? It's like, if you are, what do you call it? If you are filing things, don't stare at me, cat. Shit. If you are going to bring a case against somebody, if you're going to allege a serious crime, and some, like stalking, or even defamation, or any of these things, that is reckless, in my opinion. And it also takes away from the overloaded legal system in this country. For fuck's sake, right? Get a job, go do something else, pick up a hobby, get your shit together. So what do you guys want to do? I've been ignoring the chat. What? Woo! 5 months. Woo! Come on in. But I think that, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to start? Oh, Kelly Kell. Mm-hmm. Is that an agree? Mm-hmm. Yes, they are. So the documents, and again, this is from Subtext GitHub, and again, this is just a site where everything's collated and brought together. So thank you for putting that out there. And the reason why that I think this is important, or the reason it's important to me, is twofold. Number one, when you are a lawyer or a professional that must be licensed, that is, and position yourself as that, you are automatically, to me, under a higher level of scrutiny. Get over here, cat. I swear to God. Can you hear? But when you also take government funds, right? So one of the things that Dr. John mentions, and I haven't been able to find any proof of it, alleges that he has gotten copious, not copious, that's my statement. Let me actually just read it from his own document, because I think that this is important too. It's important to understand that, for example, Othram, right? Another one of my personal projects. Othram has received millions in federal taxpayer dollars. That is taxpayer money. That is money from the American people, right? And so legally, you are held to a higher standard when you report on how you used your grant funding. Full stop. Okay. That's a fact. I know that because I spent, oh God, the better part of 20 years reporting on exactly those things. Grants awarded and sometimes misuse of funds, which I'm not saying here. Do not get it twisted. So there's that aspect of it. Then there's the fact that, so there's the aspect that I believe that people that take an oath in any way, shape, or form, whether it's to do no harm or whatever that oath is to, if you're a public official or if you are a professional, by the bylaws and guidelines, you are accepting a higher level of scrutiny by performing your, duty. I said duty. Anyway, so what I want to do though is that I want to focus on, because I think that Christina has suffered so much under this, and I think that it's not just Christina. This is symbolic to me of a larger issue that we have with freedom of speech in this country, and I'm sick of it. For one, I am fucking sick of it. Journalists are under attack. I'm not, look, the fact that freedom of speech, which is our goddamn right, as Americans, right, is being attempted to be swatted down. And that's why in the little trail of this video, I replayed the judge's statement that we have to be careful about how we're using the tools of the law. And I get real fucking pissed off when people misuse the goddamn law. And, I just do. So seeing what happened to Miss Christina at CrimeCon pissed me off something fierce. And it reminded me, holy shit, let me go back and read through some of this stuff because I haven't read through this stuff. So I want to bring it back to what I want to read. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to listen to audio first? Or do you want to read some documents first? Or do you want to see what I found from John's public records? It's up to you guys. Well, in the clip, so the clip is so, it's the nutshell, right? I mean, it's the judge nails it, right? And the thing is that look, the burden of proof on a party bringing an action is high in these kinds of situations. The reason, from looking at the totality of evidence in the record, in the public record, let's do an exercise. Hypothetically, if we were a jury and the standard, is, or the direction to the jury is that, preponderance of the evidence versus, how the reasonable person, and that's an actual standard, the reasonableness. What would people in this community consider? And you would consider the input of all the affidavits, again, that were filed under penalty of perjury. And I'm not saying people committed perjury. What I am saying is that there's an opposition motion that I think has been overlooked in this case. And I find it very telling because it was brought forward by Christina, who is the respondent, who was brought forward by Christina, by and through her counsel, that opposes and goes through and details specific objections to claims that John Matthias made in a sworn document to the court. Not to me, not to you, to the court. Okay? When you're making an agreement with the court that you're submitting your statement of fact, that you have to stand on that. And so what Christina did and what happens is that she was able to come back and say, you know what? We're going to object to a whole shitload of stuff going on over here because no. So let me do this. Let me first say this. Oh, nice. This is a great connection. Oh my God. If you know, you know. Karen Reed people, right? Holy shit. Yes. I mean, we do know that, look, the scrutiny is real. The scrutiny is there because it's, you know, represented as such. It's like I said the other day, you have to be what you say on the tin. And we know John is licensed in, Kelly Kell gets it. We know, woo. Yes, Timu. Well, the thing is that, you know, and all praise and glory, right? John has a shitload of book learning, fancy book learning, and that's great. But you're also, you know, I was told by a person that I was able to confirm with that a member of the Hidden True Crime LLC, which is a business, not an individual. If you know, you know, Kelly Kell, right? Is a business. A member of this team suggested that something that I did on a live stream provoked a report of Mr. Matthias's license, and that is prove it. So I don't like that. I don't like that that's out there. I don't like that that's out there in the background and in the ether, and I'm not going to mention the names because I'm not going to put everybody on blast. I'm just glad that people let me know. Because when you call my ethics into question, I have a fucking problem with it. Okay? I ain't perfect. No. So let's dig in, shall we? I want to lead with Christina because we always lead, or we always tend to lead with Hidden True Crime, right? And their position. Who gives a fuck, right? Who gives a fuck about them? The only reason I do is because you filed a goddamn lawsuit against somebody that cost, I'm sure, a ton of money. It's not fucking fair, dudes. God, Jesus. I mean, could you imagine if that thing got to discovery? Woo, Lord. Woo. So let me first of all just get this out of the way. So I wanted to follow up on something. Let me just make sure gotta make a list because it's straight crazy up in here. So going through my list, the other day I made a video, or I did a live about part of it was Docket Decoder, and oh my God, you guys, Docket Decoder came over and left a message on my page. Nerd. I'm a nerd, but I loved it. So anyway, I did it, and it was on the Reiner case, and it was about Dr. John and Lauren doing what they do, which is, you know, sit around and talk about family romance and all this bullshit, right? So the unique part of that was that John has a, let me bring this up here. Is this foreign registration? So let me make me tiny. And you know what? Again, y'all, this is public record. This is not hard shit to find. It really isn't. I think a lot of journalists and a lot of YouTubers would like to make it seem like that this is really difficult work to find. Now, some of it is. Look, some of it is, but it's public websites. So anyway, again, keep that in mind. So this is just, and I want to also be clear, YouTube, that this is public information, that the addresses listed here are for registered agents. So just save it. Don't do it. Don't make me go back and have to do this all over again. Right. So he, under Strive Psychology, Dr. John Matthias is operating. Great. That true. Ding, ding, ding. Which part? So, right. And everybody was, and I think here's the thing, the idea that people wouldn't be interested in someone's history. I mean, I'm sure you've all looked into me. You're like, who is this crazy broad? Right. It's what we do. Fuck. So the very idea that, well, the entitlement that one must have to think that somebody's not going to look into their lives when they barf them out into the ether for all and sundry, that wouldn't come under some sort of public scrutiny or even just opining. Like, I wonder what this guy studied. I wonder, I mean, like me, everybody knows everything about me. Probably to my detriment, but you're going to get people interested, especially when you're making claims as a psychologist. And I like to look at it this way. I don't know who follows or if anybody follows Dr. Patrice Berry, and she is a wonderful, very thoughtful psychologist who looks at true crime. And she has a disclaimer. Let me actually see if I can bring it up, because I think that this is, well, I'm not going to get off track. It's a rabbit hole. So she actually has a disclaimer on her website, and she actually is verified as a mental health provider. I'm not saying that any other psychologist on YouTube has to do that. But I think it's very, it adds to credibility. It adds to, making people aware that it truly is educational, what she's doing. I don't see enough of that. Anyway, so what the fuck was I talking about? Yeah, Dr. Berry's great. She is. Yeah, their license, everything's public. Everything. So anyway, here he is, following up on the Reiner thing, because he did have this wilderness adventure, something or other. And I don't have any idea if it got off the ground, but what I do know is that according to public records, John, now this is on the state of Utah, another place to look when you're looking for people who are being paid by the government. And that's something that we know because John said it. Right? I've never been paid by a public entity. And there's nothing wrong with that. People work for the state, people work for the feds, whatever, man. It doesn't matter. But my point is that to find those things, you go into the database, and Utah has a transparency in most states that I've come across have a transparency portal that has approved vendors, right? Okay. If you're going to do business, you have to, Janice, belly flats. Welcome. There's going to be a record of it. And so here we see that the only thing I could find, and this did go back a ways, in Utah, I wasn't able to find documentation in Nevada, but that's neither here nor there, that he did actually do some work in Kane County. And you can see here DBA in 2021. Yeah, he did. But the thing is I think that that's going to be harder to find, because I have a feeling that that is through, I don't know. But my point, I guess, here is that this is, so this is one thing I can tick off my list. Okay, he's actually, this is the one, here's a truth. He has conducted business. He has been paid for something in the state of Utah in 2021. And I don't know what's in Kane County, but there we go. Okay. So again, good job. We have a proof of one of the statements. And the thing is that with me personally, just in my personal life, is that you have my trust until you lose it. And that's anybody. That's a public official. That's elected official. That's my friends. You have my trust until you don't. And that goes with anything that I consume. Okay. So good. Yay. Because it's at a deficit now, right? So let's talk about, let me do this. So here is, we're going to talk a little bit. What are you guys saying? Did he ever claim? Yeah, Dr. Barry is great. Yes. Now, Salty, I did a stream on that a while back. It's been a while. I mean, you know, I was in school, but so yes, and I think Jay on Everyday with Jay, a lot of people have done this. So he did, there are a couple court cases. It does not bathe him in glory. That's for sure. But I couldn't find I think it's through Clark County, but I don't know. I haven't had a chance to really dig into it. I don't know if I want to, but yes. So anyway, yeah. So let's talk though about this specifically. And actually, let's just play a little intro here of the audio. And I want you guys to let me know if you can hear it. And we'll go through it. And their transcript is in the chat and or pinned, I think. But let me know if you can hear it. And I want to just start this, and then I want to read Christina's motion in opposition to declarations that were filed into this case, because let's hear that side of it, because I think that it provides a wealth of information for me, in my opinion. And my opinion counts for. I'm gonna take this off and let me see. Let me know when you can hear.
04055. Can I get counsel to state their appearance for the record?
Gaston Dio for the petitioner. And James Dunkelberger, the law firm of Bennett, Taylor, Johnson, and Deere for respondent. And respondent is seated with me.
Thank you. We say your name again.
James Dunkelberger.
Dunkelberger?
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay, counsel, before we get going, do you want to proceed by proffer, and I'll ask put your clients and witnesses under oath and see if they'll affirm it, or do you want to call up witnesses, cross-examine directly?
I think witnesses, we would prefer all witnesses not.
Okay. We are set for an hour hearing, so use that as you see fit. I noticed I did have a motion to allow some witnesses to appear remotely.
That's our motion.
Are they out of state?
Yes, they are. Okay. Petitioner also had a motion to allow one of our statement witnesses to appear remotely. That motion, I think, this morning, and provided the link, but we did have a request outstanding for other witnesses to appear if necessary.
So you guys would stipulate the witnesses appearing remotely?
I have no objection to that.
Me neither, Your Honor.
This is interesting to me. Hang on.
Your Honor.
So there's been streams done about this particular lawyer that is representing Lauren. Okay. I'm not going to get into it, but the man is, there's, shit there. And honestly, I do, the way that listening to this again, the way that this, my perception is that this man is so unprepared and just it's kind of insulting to think of how unprepared and how blithely this was thrown together. And when you see the other side of it, looking at it through the lens of the respondent here, Christina, and I think that what everybody can see here is out of pocket defending herself, right? And so that's at least put on a case, sir. And I don't know, man. Didn't feel like much of a case. But I think people can hear that. I don't think I'm making that up. I think that he sounds very unprepared.
If we could just revisit the schedule today, though. There are several declarations filed on each side. Several witnesses probably intend to appear today. 1 hour is an awful short amount of time to get this all done. And if we are going to try to do it in an hour of live testimony, could we have some sort of a guidance from the court on how we split that up, or how our time's to be spent today?
Yeah, you guys choose how. I mean, I'll make it even, that it's 50% to each of you, as to how you want to go about it. I noticed that there was several declarations filed in regards to this. Have the parties had any communication?
Listen to this part.
No, Your Honor. A little bit of yeah. It's been, forgive me. Yeah.
So what the judge, and I think that this is a very interesting point, that it's interesting to me, whatever. The judge just says, have the parties talked, right? And he means the lawyers. Because in the real world, where lawyers act, there's a professional courtesy and a reciprocity there, right? The assumption the judge is making is appropriate, or the question. I mean, I'm reading into this, but it seems to me he's saying, I assume that you all have talked at this point, because as a it's as I live and breathe. It is Miss Christina. Hey, welcome aboard. So I think it's very interesting. Thanks, Christina, for joining. So I think it's very interesting what the judge is saying here is like, hey, you guys are colleagues, right? In the profession, have you guys spoken? Because that's the assumption, is that you talk to you talk to counsel.
Misunderstood. You mean counsels?
Yeah.
Counsel?
Yes, no doy, sir, Daston, whatever your name is. You mean counsels? Yeah, a derb. That, of course, that's what he means. Good God.
Party? Minimal on procedural matters last week.
How come there's been no effort to resolve this?
Oh, man. How can that be, that there's been no effort to resolve this? And again, because, I'm like 2 minutes into this audio and you can already tell who's ready and who's not. It's pretty fucking obvious. I'm 2 minutes and 40 seconds in. It is obvious to me what is happening here. And the judge is saying, how can that be? Right? How can that be that y'all haven't tried to resolve this? Because what I can tell you is that in civil cases, in many states, I don't know, I guess I don't know if Utah is one, but in many states, there is a mandatory ADR or mediation where the parties must try to mediate. Now, I'm assuming there's not one in Utah because I didn't see that in any orders. But again, it didn't really get to the point of there being those types of orders that I saw. And Christina's here, so she can correct me. But you know, the presumption is, as adults living in the world, you know, you're going to talk. You're going to try to resolve the conversation because you believe that a civil case is brought in good faith. That does mean something. That's not, hey, I need to talk to you. Hey, Nick, I need to talk to you about some Swedish law. I sent you a DM. Okay. It's mission critical. So get back to me. Check it. It's on X. But welcome aboard. So you bring it in good faith, or that's the presumption, right? You bring it in good faith. And so when the judge asks a question, hey, how is it possible that y'all haven't chatted yet? It's setting a stage to pants the plaintiffs, because the burden is on the plaintiff in this case, right? Get over here, cat. Jesus Christ. So it is, what is this? Christina asks, I need to ask my attorney if I can share publicly. Oh my God, girl. Oh my God. I don't even know if I want to know. Girl, you've said it. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh my God. What is happening? Yeah, keep your heart cards close, my dear. But holy hell. Woo! Presumption of good faith until, you know, here's the analog. And this is, if you want to think this is political, great. But I don't care. The thing that's going on in federal courts right now is that the Department of Justice under the current administration has lost the presumption of good faith. And that has been shown in two different cases that have been very public about the slush fund that the administration made a deal, whatever. The loss of that presumption of good faith, and that's not the correct word, but that is something that is not easy to come back from. Now that's distinctly different from this nincompoop, right? The guy in Utah, the lawyer here. But it is something that, you know, there is the candor to the tribunal situation here. So let's proceed. I gotta go. Oh God, I gotta go put the disco ball in for the cat. So hang on one second. Let me just let this roll for a minute. And then I do want to read from Christina's response because I think it's very telling.
Is there a reason why?
Well, from my perspective, it's not that we're against that or opposed to that. It's just the timing of it that's still short. When the injunction was filed and when he appeared, and so there's been a lot of evidence and briefings to submit already. So I would just say it's only because we haven't had a fair chance to do
it. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Unless you guys think that some discussion, I can give you a little bit of time. You want to go out and discuss, think that'll be fruitful. Otherwise, we'll just get going.
I'm happy to go out with this stand and try to have a quick discussion.
Okay, you guys do that and then come back in and let me know.
Love this part.
5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell if we're making progress as soon as you can see that we're going one direction or the other.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You may have a seat. Okay, counsel, what we're able to work out.
Unfortunately, Your Honor, we're not going to be able to come to a stipulation.
Right.
Let's go ahead and,
So
are we
that's-
ready to proceed then?
We have one matter of housekeeping.
Oh,
Your Honor,
God,
on the
hang on.
petition.
So this next part, oh, Lord. But here's the disco ball for toots. Somebody mentioned it. Okay, so we'll take a toot break. You want a toot break? Toot break. Okay. Disco ball. Okay. We'll do a quick toot break. Stretch. Woo! Let it all hang out. Hi. Now there's her foods. Say hello, sweetie. She loves her disco ball, don't you? Yes, my baby. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so that's the toots break. Let me make myself teeny tiny again. So yeah, she gets the disco ball because she likes flickery things. Anyway, let's see. If you didn't come for cats, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Hey, Penny, how you doing? Who else has come in? I'm sorry, I'm missing people. Salty. Yes. Yeah. Sketinoa? Not sure how to pronounce that. I'm sure that was correct. They don't understand. They can't buy principles. Right. This is like, anyway. She is a beautiful floof. She's also a tyrant. But anyway, back to this. So, this next part, I don't know. Do people remember this? Are people remembering this audio? I know, right? The box. She's got boxes everywhere. My cucumber. She certainly does. Yeah, she's my baby. Do people remember hearing this? I mean, aside from Christina. Okay. It's pretty stunning to listen to it again. And maybe that's just me, and maybe I'm a nerd. But man, it casts an entire new light considering what is ongoing here. And just sort of, it's okay. Anyway, this next part is when Lauren tries to remove herself from the proceedings that she brought, which pisses me off particularly, but we'll get there. Take my face off screen again.
Sure. If that's all right, if I may. Go ahead. So given the nature of the claims and the emotional distress it's caused my client, and considering the audience we have here, my client is requesting that only the necessary parties, those from the respondent side who will be testifying, be allowed to be in the courtroom. Provide her some sort of safety and comfort during these proceedings, to the extent we can.
Gross.
Mr. Dunkelberger?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd object to that. This is a petition that's been brought by petitioner.
A petition that's been brought by petitioner. You don't get to bring a case and not show up. And the judge is going to tell us all that.
Is going to be here in the courtroom, and as respondent, Ms. is entitled to have people here with her.
Yeah, it's an open courtroom. There is no motion filed to close it. So I expect the parties to be here in person when we have a case. So
it's an open courtroom, and I expect the parties to be here when you bring a case. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. You cannot do this. I'm sorry. You have to be in a place when you bring a case. It's just a goddamn thing. I mean, I'm unclear of the calculus. Did they not think that it would get to this point? Did they not think that there would actually be a day in court? Or were they just hoping to make some sort of weird deal for what? I don't know. Because fucking shit, man. Gross. I mean, seriously. Yeesh. I can't imagine. Look. Let's just get on with it.
That motion is denied.
Yep, motion's denied, mother scratcher.
Now, as to the reality of where we are, how much time does council think that?
This is another stunning portion of the my review is when Lauren and John, or Lauren's attorney, expresses his thoughts on just how long he thought he should have to present his fucking case.
Realistically, you're going to need in this case?
Well, we need at least 2 witnesses, 3 including the petitioner's husband.
3, including the petitioner's husband. I want to make that clear because that's what we're going to be talking about. Okay? And I want you to also think about, and we'll get there, including the petitioner's husband. And that's significant because the court, if this went forward, we're going to talk about the objections that Christina's counsel had to this because of the positioning in the sworn statement by John Matthias. Okay?
Try to get through as quickly as I can, but there are
How much time are you anticipating?
Well, Your Honor, I had anticipated having the whole day, honestly. So, or at least half the day.
When did the notice go out, he says?
That's correct. And then it was rescheduled to Monday, the 17th to the 22nd.
So I'm not sure why when we scheduled it at 4, why you'd anticipate you would have a half day.
Oh, burn. God damn it. This judge is just spitting. This is getting pantsed by the judge. This is equivalent, in my opinion, to a something not well taken. Postmark Mama, where the hell you been? So we're 6 minutes in, and the judge is already like, I smell what y'all are stepping in. What on earth would make you think Lauren's lawyer, whatever his name is, Daston, I don't know what it is now. What would make you think when I scheduled this hearing for 4 p.m. that you would have a half a day, right? Because what I'm imagining in my brain in the background is that, is that counsel is making moves to get ready for a hearing that they can summarize and stand on their filings, right? That's part of it. I mean, it's beyond the pale, right? Wait, did Trisha file an affidavit? I don't know. But you can email me at andy@andykopsa.com if it exists. Anyway, so the court is skeptical. Right? The court is skeptical.
You're right. That I might have misread that or read too much into it. But
I've read too much into it. Sir, it's 4 p.m. It was 4 p.m. Not 4 p.m. Pacific, not 4 p.m. Hong Kong time. It was 4 p.m. in the United States of America, in Utah. Jesus wept.
It was rescheduled for 11 a.m. So
how much time are you anticipating? That's
hours.
Hours.
how many?
Sweet Jesus, take the cheese wheel. I mean, here's look. I gotta. Oh my God, I gotta move a little bit because my computer's already done. Here's the deal: if you can't make your fucking case, standing on your statements made in your sworn affidavits, just kind of summarize it, right? That to me screams, yeah. I don't know, man. Is Young Black? Holy shit! Where you been, girl? Hello. Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was to waste money or to just humiliate. I mean, and that's to me, or and not humiliate. That's wrong. I retract that statement. To curtail criticism of a former friend. And man, and knowing what has happened with Kresha and the Woodcocks and the way that this crew operates, churns and burns through families and victims, it's real gross. It's real gross. And here's what I've learned as a journalist over the years. When you put your name on a document, and I've done that, you can find my various bylines, you have to stand by what you say. I've had to issue retractions when I've been fucking wrong. And let me tell you something, publications don't like that. But it's the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Scrutiny. When you put your name on something, you open yourself up to scrutiny. And as a goddamn journalist, I would imagine Lauren knows that. I mean, look, I love chocolate bacon as much as the next person, but for fuck's sake, let's get the basics. This entire case is running like a scalded dog from something that was said and done that should not have been said and done. And in my opinion, that's the way that some of the victims' families were treated by the LLC. Right? And that's just my opinion. Oh, unless your name is Jason Blair, don't even get me into the whys and what fors there, because holy shit.
At least 3.
At least 3 hours.
On your case in chief, Mr. Dongelberger.
So we were prepared today because of the short time frame.
We were prepared today because of the short time frame. No doy. When the court tells you something, you listen. My God. The entitlement and the hubris coming out of the plaintiff. Yuck. Yuck.
Proceed primarily by proffer. We understood that that's what was going to happen today. Given the short amount of time, brief opening statement, proffer the witnesses, some cross-examination in a hurry, and then be out.
Some cross-examination in a hurry. This guy, hey, look, Mr. Dunkelberger, snaps to you, sir. Love it. Just TCBing it all over the place. A little less conversation, a little more action. Am I right, Elvis? Right? Anyway, so let's just go on a little bit, and then I want to talk about the filings.
We were prepared to forward in to the court's convenience on this. Certainly, if the other side's entitled to 3 hours, we'd ask for parity, but we think that you could do it in substantially less time. It just depends on how they want to do it.
Okay.
I have a suggestion, Your Honor. Pending before the court is our ex parte motion to enforce the temporary stalking injunction. Perhaps if we proceeded to resolve that motion, that may resolve the entire matter.
Okay, so this point right here where he's like, well, let's proceed to resolve that matter. What he was saying, oh God, are you sure? You need to talk to your lawyer. Okay, I don't want you getting in trouble, girl. But I mean, you're welcome to. Are you okay? Am I doing something wrong? You let me know. I'm going to let this play for a little bit and you let me know if you still want to. Okay, Christina?
If, in other words, I guess what I'm saying is perhaps we can achieve what we need to by simply ruling on that motion. And then if it's granted, then that resolves the issue. And if it's not, then we can, I guess, readdress and plan at that.
Mr. Bengelberger?
That's the tail wagging the dog, Your Honor. I mean, we have 28 days, from the notice. As far as I'm aware, I don't think the court has issued a hearing. I know there.
Y'all, I'm going to put, Christina says that she knows that she's allowed to share some things. So I'm going to put her on speakerphone. Everybody, wait a second. Welcome our good friend.
Hey, am I good now? I don't know.
Can you guys hear Christina?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Let's see. Let's make sure. I'm sure they can, but
Okay, perfect. I can see chat too.
can you?
Easy.
Okay, so they can hear
Okay,
you
yeah.
loud and clear. Again, I just want to
Okay.
say it's good to see young Black economists. I haven't seen you for a long time. Okay, Christina.
Okay, so I can share this part,
Okay.
and I think this is hilarious. So her attorney, Gaston, obviously was like, oh, we didn't have enough time to prepare. Well, in Utah, you have to ask for a hearing. So when I was served, that doesn't mean I automatically get a hearing. It's basically like, look, you can fight this if you want, or if you don't fight this, it'll just immediately go into effect in 10 days and you'll have it for 3 years. And obviously, of course, I'm like, I'm going to fight this. I didn't do this. So when I got home from CrimeCon of 2025 on this Sunday. And that Monday, I woke up. First thing I did is I went to the courthouse and I immediately filed for a hearing. 2 days after that, I got an alert of like when the hearing day was, and it was going to be the next Wednesday. So not 2 days later, but the next one after that. The only problem is I was going out of town for, I think it was like 5 days. My husband and I were just going to gallivant around DC and have fun, just me and him. Anyway, so my attorney had to reach out to her attorneys to say like, hey, we need an extension. We'd rather like just have you approve it too. It's just easier, you do it with the attorney. And they said no. So
Wait. Sorry. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we had to go through the court. And the court then said, yes, we can delay it until the 22nd.
Uh-huh.
So I think it was originally supposed to be the 14th. And then they approved the delay and gave us the date. Like we just said we were gone this date to this date. And so then they approved it for, I think it was the next Wednesday or something like that. Anyway, so that's why this part to me is comical, because her attorney's saying he wasn't ready, but they originally denied my extension request.
Yeah. See, but that's the thing, right? And so I think that that's kind of where I'm at, is that to me, this says there was, and again, this is my opinion, but to me, it says there was no good faith here on the part of the lawyer. And the thing is that, I mean, there's some shit in some of these filings that if I was an attorney, I would be like,
man, did you really file that? Did you file that
Okay,
motion?
here's another comical one. So her attorney quoted a court case, and I think one of his like first filings, that is literally a court case that my attorney was the attorney on. He paved that way in the court case.
Ugh.
He went to the Supreme Court and helped set the precedent for that court case. And the way her attorney was quoting it was like manipulating the wording, and it wasn't the way it was at all. Yes.
I love that for him.
Yes, as we were reading this, was like, this literally is my court case that I helped pave the way in the Supreme Court of Utah for. And he's not even quoting it correctly. Like, obviously, he didn't even have to look it up because he knew that's my court case, you know?
Right. Chapter
yeah,
and verse. So let me ask you a question about that for a minute, because it's like, I love that, because that to me is slop, right? That is slop city. And that to me, again, says that this was not done in good faith. It just feels like that to me, right? So,
100%.
But the other thing is that, did your attorney respond was that in just a motion or just a response, or was that, because I think there was only this one audio.
He responded. I mean,
it's public document,
so there was
right?
One audio, and then we responded through the, it's like my case or whatever. We responded through there, and all of it would have been entered into evidence and would have been like, we would have all gone over it in the October 16th 16th hearing. But because it was dropped, like, we had a ton of objections, obviously, to John's thing. We had a list of things that we were going through, because none of it, there is absolutely no proof in any of their evidence that I stalked them ever, because I never did. I didn't even look at her. I walked away. I did not even look at her content. I did not look at her social media. I had no interest. Right. And me posting on TikTok was like, literally, I'd have a second with my kids, like, entertained, and I'd be like, oh, I should post a story time right now. Like, it was like so not deep, the way, like, it was like, oh, I'll just share a story for those who might need it. Right. And that was it. That's how it went down. Well, that's why it's like, there was absolutely no evidence of stalking at all. So any deal they presented me, which I will check with my attorney. Any deal they presented me at all it's like deal or no deal. I'd say no deal, because I never stalked her. Right. Because you're standing on business. I didn't harass her. I didn't talk to her. No. I also, the last time, so on August 22nd, 2025, it's crazy. I have all these dates memorized. Girl. On August 22nd, 2025, she removed a like from our text strand, and it gives an alert, when you do stuff like that. And I literally remember thinking, she's up to something right now. Oh, really? And then it was August 28th. I didn't know at the time that I think that she filed it. So I don't know if she had to fly out here or if she could do it through online. Yeah, she could probably do it online. Yeah, I would assume. Obviously, I didn't find out about it till my husband called me. That's just, and again, look, it's not. I didn't come to this conclusion, nor did I think the community of people come to this conclusion. We didn't just pull it out of our asses. Right. So this is something that has been shown and proved. And honestly, I don't wish it on anybody to have to go and defend themselves in court. But I think that I was getting ready to read through, and I have pulled up the objections you made, because I think, to me, that is so much more valuable than anything that those idiots said, frankly. Totally. Because my attorney is amazing. He was seriously amazing. I picture him as that guy that played Aiden on Sex and the City, but I don't want to know differently. Do you have any idea? Oh my gosh. Yes, I need to remember. Hold on, I gotta go look up the name. Sex and the City, memorize Aiden. That's what his voice reminds me of. No, he's so, oh my gosh, that's so fun. Wait, I love this guy from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Yes. Yeah, honestly, kind of similar. I can see it. Oh, totally. He's kind of got that voice. He's kind of got that voice. So smart. And honestly, he definitely cared about me. It was really cool. It was really cool. Yeah. And that to me, so, I'm very clear about all of this stuff. It's like,
I appreciate good lawyering, right?
Oh,
I
yes.
appreciate lawyers that give a shit versus lawyers who are just chasing ambulances. And this,
Totally.
you know, and so when I got, somebody sent me and I think I mentioned this earlier, is that I got an email from somebody letting me know that Grayson was patrolling people's streams again. And I'm like, look, man, this is all public information. And I'm really sick of these people out here curtailing public speech, using public documents that are, you know, using their own words, right? So it grosses me out. I think it really, to me, it's just punitive or not punitive. I don't know if it's rises to the level of malicious, but
well, it's fascinating because I remember, so when the 9-hour live happened,
oh God,
and all the other things happened after, I remember telling, number one, I told everybody, any family, friend, anyone, I was like, look, don't defend me. I don't need you to defend me right now. The truth will come out. I don't need anybody in chats. I don't need, like, literally none of my family or friends or anything. I told them all, do not defend me, because I don't need it. The truth will defend itself, and I don't need them in a position to be hurt by these people, right? Like, some of my friends already were like literally doxxed because of them. And I remember saying though, like, okay, but some of the content, I was like, watch it all, guys. It's crazy to watch. Like, I will never, that's the thing, what I realized is these people are like, oh, don't watch these things that are negative about me. It's like, for me, I was opposite. I'm like, watch all the negative things about me. Yeah. Because it's comical. It's not true. And so people, all, like friends and family watching it, would be laughing because like how off base everything is because of how untrue it is. I'm not scared of anyone watching anything because the truth stands. It is what it is. So they can see lies for what they are. And it's funny to watch, right? Yeah. And I think that it's funny to watch, but let's be real. I mean, it has an impact. Yes. And I'm not trying to minimize it actually, I probably am trying to minimize it for myself. So I don't feel, when I have let myself feel the intensity of it all, it's hard. So I don't want to do that right now. Right. But I do love the responses that you gave. And I think that this really gets at the heart of what I was trying to get at when I wanted to do this stream, was that, you know, John positions himself in his signed under penalty of perjury affidavit on behalf of his wife, but he straddles and jumps over a line that is so impermissible to me. And I think, and that is that line of, but I'm an expert. I want you to sit in this room with me and smell all of my farts, right? Because I am the expert. And positioning himself as an expert in his, as he does in the publicly available documents in his own words, that's available to everybody to see, Grayson, is he is saying, I am a PhD. I do X, Y, and Z. First of all, I'd love to see the discovery on that. Love to see those 5,000 cases, right? Totally. I read that. And I, like, when that was submitted, and oh God, did you not? I cried. Yeah. Not for me, Andy. I literally, and I hate, and I feel it's sad for me to say, like, because I don't want to feel bad for them at the same time, but like, I was like, why? I cried for them. I'm like, he just put the metaphorical, for those, this is not a threat to anyone, the metaphorical nail in his own coffin, and he did not need to do that. Yeah. And not on his death. Like on his career. Like, even if he, who's to say, whatever. And yes, he has a PhD, doctorate in philosophy. I was kind of a nitty on that one. That's fine. But he did that. He didn't have to do that. I did not make him do that. I feel so bad. That hurt me for them. And I no longer obviously feel that way right now. Like, but I definitely at the time remember when I read that, so sad that he did that to himself
Yeah. And the thing is that you did have and I totally respect that, right? That would be the first reaction is, what in the hell are you doing here, sir? Because you did, I have never had any contact with these people ever, except that time that Lauren tried to DM me and give me a task. But but the thing is that you were still, I mean, there's been a lot of water under the bridge at this point, and like you said at the time, right?
Well, even if I don't have to like them. Obviously at the time and right now I'm completely indifferent to them as people, but I don't want anyone, it's sad to see, even with people you don't like, them do something like that to themselves. Like, life doesn't have to be this hard. You don't have to do that. Like,
right. Yeah.
It's just not, it just is this, it's sad to see people do that. But
it is.
Anyway, I feel bad. I won't interrupt your stream any longer. I was killed. Oh, wait, one last thing that I was saying in chat was when we got there, I had tons of friends and family behind me, like over 30 people, all behind me. And my attorney had to have them squish over so that it was very clear they were there to support me.
Right.
And literally so she did not come into the courtroom until the judge said she has to come in. I was shocked. And I remember I think it was my sister or someone said after, like, you would think, like, if she was an actual stalking victim, she would want, your friends and family there to be like, hey, look, your daughter has a problem.
Right.
You need to, like, get her checked out. But obviously, like, that's not the case. And it's very clear that my friends and family were there as a support to witness this, because it's an injustice, and it was nice to have those people there. Because again, this, as you all know, this was not public at all at the time.
Right.
So
was John there?
No.
Okay, so I guess just one question, if you can't answer it, that's fine. But how was Mr. Her attorney planning on having the witnesses heard? I don't understand how
so they filed a witness to be heard over Zoom
because
of a disability for him.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And whereas, like, we subpoenaed Lori Hellis, and so she was going to appear over Zoom because she lives out of state.
Right.
And then there was also Dental Lori. She was subpoenaed over, and then she was over Zoom as well. And then we had a couple others, obviously.
Okay.
But his, I think, because he was a participant, his had to be filed. His was filed, and it was disability. That was his excuse.
Okay. All right.
How much I believe that, I don't know anymore. How much I believe any of their quote unquote disabilities, I'm not sure I believe any of them right now. I mean, Lauren claimed to me she had MS and rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay, so I need to ask you about that.
That's a lot.
Because I have MS, and I don't like I don't use that.
I mean, I have a good friend with MS as well. Her symptoms are different than what Lauren told me that her symptoms were. My friend who does have MS, she can't taste or smell. Those are some of her symptoms. And
what I'll say,
are different.
Well, and the thing is that, honestly, it's all different and it all presents differently. I just think that the timing for me was the problem of when that came out. It felt very opportunistic, and it made my ears perk up. So that's really it. You met one person with MS. You've met one person with MS. If you see me on the street, you're not going to think, that woman has MS, but and it affects everybody differently.
Exactly.
So
she told me that hers was so I have a vivid memory of this. I have actually like a weirdly good memory.
Now I don't know if you want to share private conversations about.
No. This is fine. I'm safe to say this. But she shared that hers was in remission.
Yes. that can happen.
And that,
Yep.
yes.
Yes.
So
that's great.
at the time, I had no reason not to believe her.
Sure.
And again, I don't really care either way if it's true or false.
Right.
But
Right. And so
yeah.
so that is a thing. So I have relapsing remitting. So
okay.
yeah, so that is a thing. There's mentioned on
And modern technology and health, the healthcare
Yes.
system has such improved to a point where like you really can get there with MS.
Yep. But anyway, so that whatever. That's her own journey.
Yeah. But that was that was their filing in the system of why he couldn't come. Originally, I don't think they gave an excuse and it was denied. And then I have to go back and look, but his original submission for an out-of-state witness was denied. I can't remember exactly why, but I think it was because they didn't list an excuse.
Okay.
And then the second time they submitted it, it was approved. They also submitted one for Susan Hendricks. But hers was just because she lived out of state.
Right. Did Trisha ever file anything?
Trisha's was never filed. Lauren quoted Trisha's in her second or third
Oh,
declaration, I
okay.
think.
Okay.
But I remember thinking when I read that, Trisha hasn't submitted one, and I've never met or talked to or engaged with Trisha at all.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
These people. Yeah. Okay.
And
okay. Got it.
I never emailed, Grayson had hooked me and Susan Hendricks up because Susan Hendricks needed some graphic design work, and Grayson was Grayson told me that she was working in a producer capacity as well for Susan Hendricks.
Oh.
And
okay.
So we had never we had talked about doing some graphic design work. It had never been fully finalized or anything. And then after April 9th, I just figured I never reached out to Susan Hendricks. I just was like, I'm gonna bet that was ruined, so
yeah.
So Trisha's was never submitted into the court system. The first time that was ever made known to me was in the 9-hour live. And even then I didn't watch the 9-hour live. I watched a couple hours that night, but I didn't even know about that till much later.
The 9-hour live. Okay. Yeah. Gross. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I want to.
Thanks for letting me interrupt your stream.
Never say sorry, girl. You always have an invite. Thank you.
I know, but you streamers are you guys streaming are so good. You guys have your plans, and I appreciate it so much. And I just threw a little wrench in it, but
girl, plan. What are you talking about? Have you met? Have you watched anything I do? There is no plan.
Oh my gosh, girl, you're the way you're so much more organized than I am.
All right.
You might think you're not, but for me, you are so organized.
God. Okay. Well, look, I'm glad that you clarified that, and the Trisha thing was outstanding. So, I'm glad you clarified that.
Yes.
But I do think it's important to let people know that there was pushback from your lawyer on some of the claims made in these really, reading, and we'll talk about it. So I'll let you go.
Yeah, and there would have been much more obviously pushback than even that, but we had that all ready to go for Thursday, and Tuesday it was dropped.
Yeah, because of law and crime, right?
Law and crime.
All right, well, go do something fun.
Yes. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, thanks. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
I think our special guest. So anyway, that was good to know because I know people were wondering about who had filed in. Thank you, Christina. Yes, thank you. And somebody had a question about MS, right? Okay, so MS for me presents in certain ways. And there is relapsing remitting, which is what I have. And the symptoms are different for everybody. I'm in remission right now. I have certain disabilities, I lost color vision in my left eye, which my husband loves to make fun of me for. He's like, that's green. I'm like, okay, whatever. But it presents in different ways. And then there's primary progressive, which is much more serious and much more akin to an ALS. And then there's secondary progressive. So anyway, that's just wrapping that all up. So again, person can have MS and not look like they have MS. So a person can look like they have a disability and not have a disability. But anyway, so my best old lady friend. Thanks. Are you saying that I'm an old lady? Post-punk mama? I know you're not. Okay, so I wanted to just go through this because I think that it's pretty incredible. I think, should we start with John's declaration? Let's start with John's declaration because it's really infuriating to me, knowing what we know. I'm kidding, post-punk mama, my Midwestern friend. I think Midwestern. Yes. I used to have a client with MS who was a bodybuilder. Yeah. Correct. Invisible disabilities sometimes are the fucking worst. Look, anyway. So in John's filing, with the court, he diagnosed Christina. He just did. And we're going to talk about that for a hot second because Christina's lawyer rightfully responded and objected. Okay. And I think that that's something that gets missed here is that all of the things, well, not all, but I mean, the lion's share of what Lauren's affidavits were put forward, Christina, as the respondent, had the opportunity and was able to rebut many of them based on like either procedural grounds or, you know, the impropriety of a husband also trying to act as an expert witness when they're not entered on the case as an expert witness, all of that shit. So let me take my face off of this thing because I got to come in and look closely. Yeah. So let's look. And again, this stuff is just ew, is what I'm going to say. Let me pull it up on my screen. Okay. So this is the statement. I actually, you know what? I actually put it into AI voice. Let's see. Should we listen to it? Should we listen to the voice I gave? Let me see if that's it.
I, Dr. John Matthias, declare as follows.
Oh my.
I, Dr. John, I am the husband of Lauren Matthias. I am a clinical and forensic psychologist licensed in both Utah and Nevada. I received an undergraduate degree in philosophy from Princeton University, a master's degree in marriage, family, and child counseling from the University of Southern California, and a doctorate in counseling psychology from the University of Southern California. I am currently a partner with Lauren in Hidden Productions, where we co-host the Hidden True Crime podcast and YouTube channel. I also supervise doctoral students at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV, and have done so since 2007. I have evaluated over 500 criminals for the risk of recidivism and mental health problems, psychopathology, related to criminality. I have been certified by the Utah Department of Corrections, UDOC, and the Utah Network on Juveniles Obtaining Safety, NOJOS, to conduct forensic evaluations with both adult and juvenile sexual offenders. I have been approved by the state of Nevada Parole and Probation to perform forensic evaluations and to work with juvenile and adult offenders in therapy groups. I have been certified by the federal courts as an expert in forensic work to perform forensic evaluations. I have received federal and state expert services contracts to perform forensic work and to conduct forensic evaluations. I have also led and conducted hundreds of therapy groups with hundreds of convicted felons since 1996, in addition to working with hundreds of child and adult victims of trauma and abuse. Since April 2025, I have personally observed the ongoing harassment and stalking directed at my wife, Lauren. Both as her spouse and as a licensed psychologist, I have witnessed the profound toll this harassment has taken on her mental health. She has suffered from heightened anxiety and depression, hopelessness and despair, and repeated panic attacks. She has internalized many of the cruel and false narratives directed at her, which has eroded her self-esteem, and she has exhibited trauma symptoms, including hypervigilance, excessive anxiety, and intrusive and unwanted thoughts. I have watched her withdraw socially and struggle to concentrate with a significant decline in her work focus and productivity. She has also experienced ongoing insomnia, reduced appetite and weight loss, feelings of inadequacy, fear, irritability, frequent migraine headaches, and persistent stress-related gastrointestinal problems. On more than one occasion, she has expressed suicidal thoughts, overwhelmed by the relentless nature of the malicious and false attacks directed towards her. The day I will never forget is July 7th, 2025. At approximately 5 o'clock in the morning, I woke up to Lauren rocking in our bed in visible distress. She was holding her legs tightly against her chest in the fetal position as she rocked back and forth on the bed.
Okay.
She was experiencing a severe panic attack, and she told me that she did not want to live. That moment was devastating for me as her husband and deeply alarming as a clinician who understands the seriousness of such statements. Never once in the 10 years that I have known Lauren has she ever expressed or considered such suicidal thoughts. I was devastated and concerned by this extreme change in her behavior. Our 8-year-old son has also been greatly affected by these events. He has developed an unusual sense of responsibility to protect his mother, telling her that she must promise to run to save her life if he tells her to, and not to ask questions. He lives with the constant fear that harm will come to her, and his sense of safety has been diminished. He mirrors his mother's anxiety and distress, and he has attempted to comfort and protect her, taking on responsibilities no young child should bear. His fear of strangers and imagined catastrophes has increased dramatically to the point of often refusing to leave the home. He has withdrawn socially from friends, struggled to fall asleep at his normal bedtime, and significantly reduced his appetite since the stalking began. This parental role reversal, empathic trauma, and emotional harm are all symptoms of what happens to children who become secondary victims when a parent is subjected to ongoing stalking and harassment.
Okay. So I'm going to read the last little bit because I ran out of the free AI over voiceover. I just put a link in the chat that is to the public information. Okay. So yeah, that was just an AI voice because you know what? Sometimes I just get tired of chatting. Let me see. Take that off. So that, yeah, so the link is in the chat. All this shit's public. That was just me dumping it into AI. So, but the last portion of this, you know, so we went through the ongoing stalking and harassment. As clinical and forensic psychologist, my professional work has included evaluate. Now, this is the part that really gets into territory that Christina's attorney will make objection to, and rightfully so, in my opinion. John is saying here in his sworn affidavit, right? Signed September 19th, 2025, John Matthias. Okay, I declare under penalty. I'm not suggesting he's you know, perjury, but this is a filing with the court, and you're representing to the court that you know, you're representing to the court that what you're saying is true, right? So he's represented in a court of law. What he is saying is true, and he's alleging here, and he's asserting as fact, having not met Christina, having not known Christina, having not ever put her through any sort of rigorous testing, but basically doing what he does to every single person that they talk about on their live streams. He has gone ahead and said, in his expert opinion, when an individual, right, he tries to depersonalize it a little bit, anonymize it a little bit, but I mean, it's filed into the case against Christina. In my expert opinion, when an individual repeatedly violates a stalking injunction, wrong. Okay, I mean this. Oh God, sir, is the violation of the stalking injunction in the room with us? Is it? The assertion of fact here, the assertions and hubris that is riddled. This document is riddled with the kind of hubris and elitism and this occupation of a rarefied air that, wow, sir. In my expert opinion, when an individually repeatedly violates a stalking injunction, it demonstrates not only a lack of respect for authority of the court, really, a lack of respect for the authority of the court and the rule of law. No, God, but also clear antisocial traits that significantly increase the risk of harmful behavior in the future. Show me the past harmful behavior. This to me is just so beyond the pale. Good God, sir. Oh God, this makes me so mad. Don't get the words rule of law out of your fucking mouth. Get it out of your mouth, because justice needs to be done. It needs to be seen. And y'all tried to hide it from everybody and just hoped, in my opinion, that you could force a young woman. It's I don't know if Jesus Christ. Oh, and the rule of law, fuck off. Also, clear antisocial traits. What are you talking about? Seriously. I mean, it's like this hearsay bullshit. If they're talking about CrimeCon, he's hearing it from his this is ugh. For this reason, I'm especially concerned for the safety of my wife, my family, and myself. These restraining order violations, I mean, sir, just because you keep repeating it doesn't mean it's true. Just because you're repeating it over and over again in an official court filing that you represented to the tribunal as being true and factual, just because you say it over and over again does not mean that it's true, nor does it mean that the court will find it admissible. The rule of law requires Christina's lawyers to respond, and they did. And we're going to spend time on that because I am sick of talking about this man's fucking words, because they mean nothing at this point to me, in my opinion. He goes on to say, combined with an escalating psychological harm we have endured, have led me to respectfully request that the court not only uphold, but strengthen the stalking injunction in this matter with the recommendation, who in the fuck do you think you are? God damn it. Of a referral for criminal charges. There is no indication based upon past and current behaviors that the stalking and harassment will cease, or without the stalking injunction. I declare under penalty of perjury, under the laws of the state of Utah, that the foregoing is true and correct. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I find this infuriating. I mean, this guy doesn't know what disrespect to the court actually is, right? The court isn't offended by much. But a court of law does take issue with assertions and judging evidence to be admissible or not admissible. And what John's done here very clearly in his sworn affidavit, which is absolutely public and linked in the chat, is to say that I'm acting now in my, I mean, that last paragraph reads as if he is making a recommendation to the court. Sir, you're not here to do that. You can be one or the other. Can't be both. You can be Lauren's wife. Freudian slip. Get it? Lauren's husband. Or you can be a psychologist. The trouble is there, I think, that in order to be a psychologist offering an opinion that is grave, this is a grave portrait that he has laid out here about Christina, to the point where it would be funny if it weren't so, I don't know, imagine, if you will, I'm so mad. I'm sorry. I'm not paying attention to chat. God, it's just, okay. So, no, let's talk about Christina's response to this. Okay. So again, Christina's lawyer, Mr. Dunkelberger, or is it Dunkelberger? The guy that reminds me, I've never seen him, but his voice reminds me of Aiden. Hola! What else are you guys saying? Sorry, I haven't been watching chat. Be pissed that these people did and tried to do to Christina. I feel they still haven't received the consequences they deserve. You know, I don't know what their consequences are, right? Because I don't know. I guess maybe losing sleep. So Kelly Kell, recent law school grad, studying for the bar. You should subscribe to her channel for sure. Well, you know, the interesting soap and clay, you know, I thought about perjury, but honestly, the thing is that that's incredibly difficult to prove. That bar is incredibly high. And this is the reason that motion practice is happening. So the motion practice that's going on is that this is the response. So Christina's lawyer is responding to the declarations filed by Lauren. Okay, because that's her goddamn right. So objections, right? So I'm going to read this. And I'm not looking at chat right now, but throw up your questions if you got them. Respondent Christina, through counsel, pursuant to blurgity blurg objection, Matthias has filed 9 declarations in support of her request for a civil stalking injunction. These are 1, Lauren's, Grayson's, Lauren's, 2nd, Paul, we know who that is, Joe Schmo. 2nd declaration of Grayson, declaration of Sarah somebody, declaration of Dr. John Matthias, okay, doctor, the Reverend Doctor, declaration of Susan Hendricks, my God woman, really, and the 3rd declaration, right? The foregoing declarations are hereinafter collectively referred to as petitioner declaration. Okay, so petitioner, just reset here. Petitioner is Lauren, respondent is Christina. And this is Christina's response to, we're going to go straight on down to Dr. John. Okay. Because that's what I just read. Where is it? I mean, look, this is a humdinger. So you all should go and check out the publicly available files that were filed in a public hearing in a public court using their names. So here we go. Good God, Hendricks. Okay, third method. Where's Dr. John? Hang on. Why can't I find it? Ah, damn it. Probably because there's so many fucking declarations. 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is. Okay. So these are Christina's responses. So the objections to John Matthias' declaration are rules 401 and 402. It says, the John Matthias declaration spends significant time reciting John Matthias's credentials and providing his analysis of Matthias, Lauren, and their son, and of Christina. Okay? This is teeing up the objection. This is what his declaration does. As discussed below, his statements do not meet the requirements of Rule 702 and 703 because they are inadmissible opinions and not facts based on John Matthias's observations. They are irrelevant. Right? So I was watching Dreadful Penny the other night, and she talks about throwing weight around and throwing the weight of credentials around. And she's been reviewing some of this stuff, and other people have been doing it as well. That when you throw your name out there and present yourself as your profession, like this, a court has seen it all and heard it all. Okay, you're not going to pull a fast one on a fucking judge. Nor are you going to pull a fast one on an attorney who is zealously advocating for their client. And that is Mr. Dunkelberger, who I imagine is just cute. Yeah, so he spends a significant time reciting his credentials and providing his analysis of Lauren and their son and Christina. Right? I mean, questions, comments, power imbalance, big time. What if it was Benjamin Diener? Here's what he would do, Fiend. He would jump out the back window and drive away. It's just, yes, he is his own expert, but they get to that. Okay. So Rule 602, John Matthias declaration lays virtually no foundation for the grammatical burn, sir. En parens, few statements of fact. Oh, y'all. I wish I had an applause track because, sir, game recognizes game. And the use of the in parens is a masterpiece. I love it. And I'm a nerd, and I don't care. Oh my God. Wow. Let's see. All right. So John Matthias lays virtually no foundation for the few statements of fact contained therein. John Matthias does not establish a requisite personal knowledge. That's fucking right, because you weren't around. Right? Sir, you don't, and this is the thing. It's like, it's pointing out the obvious. He wasn't there. He wasn't around. He doesn't have firsthand knowledge. That's inadmissible hearsay, right? I mean, again, I haven't looked at the goddamn rules of evidence, but this is pretty general shit. So, oh my God, in this part, this doesn't get enough attention either. Rule 702, 703, John Matthias purports to offer a diagnosis of Matthias. Okay, so Lauren, he offers a diagnosis of his wife and of Christina. Both are inappropriate and do not meet the foundational requirements for admission as expert opinions. John Matthias briefly details his oh my God, I didn't read this part. Holy shit. Oh, how have I made it this far into this document and not seen this? Holy crap. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, let's see. Both are inappropriate, do not mean the foundation. Okay. He briefly details his alleged credentials. Oh, y'all. Olap. My God. Oh, I didn't see that part. Oh, Kelly Kell. Girl. Right? You know, I'm wondering, now that I'm rereading this, public information that's filed on the public document that's available to everybody, that has been filed in a court of law, which is open to scrutiny by anyone in the public of general interest, for educational purposes and for my personal enjoyment. I'm wondering now if part of the calculus wasn't that Lauren didn't want to show up because of law and crime. And I'm spitballing, and this is my speculation. Where's my fucking banners? Where is my fucking banner? Hang on. This is my speculation. Okay? And my opinion is that if this were to go before a judge in a public trial, which as Americans, we are afforded, that John's credentials would come under scrutiny. You see that word? Alleged credentials. I find that fascinating. In legal writing, and again, as you know, I am not a lawyer, but I am the world's oldest law student. Again, boring EU law and UK common law and international law. So don't listen to anything I'm saying. But what I have learned, and maybe there's somebody in the chat that knows, is that every word used by a lawyer or any legal writing, even in legal research or in legal essays, every word serves a purpose. Okay? And I find it fascinating. I can't, y'all. I'm deceased. I'm cease and desist. I am cease and desist. Young Black, wasn't Dolly able to find? Yes. And I did too. Yeah. Yep. And we went through them and it was not great. Not good. There's some in, I think in Dolly's stream, certainly. Hella, I think Jay, I think there's a lot of people that have done some work on that, but I did unearth some of his, and I only found one at the federal level, and that was acting on behalf of, it seemed like he was doing some VA work, or I don't know. Anyway, so some, just like 2. No, I'm not. I'm just old. Anyway, and again, I am not going to practice, by the way. That's not my deal. I just show up at immigration court arguing for the rights, human rights of people. Anyway, my point is that no word is used lightly in a legal filing, nor is there any word that is used erroneously, that is not purposeful, that is not intended to communicate not only with the court. You're having a conversation with the court, but you're also having a conversation with opposing counsel. And so, again, as I had stated, my speculation goes now beyond the fact that Lauren didn't want to get pantsed in public. It's that word allegedly struck fear into the hearts of the LLC, of the corporation. And when I'm talking about corporation, I am talking about Hidden True Crime LLC, or Hidden Productions LLC, which is incorporated in the state of Nevada. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, none of this. And I just love it. And I love it because I love language. Right? I love writing. I love reading. I love language, but I also enjoy discovering new things. And I just discovered this. I guess I didn't realize that. Holy shit. Well, yeah, again, my feeling is, again, my speculation is that maybe had something to do with it as well, right? Because if you're going to give public testimony at a public trial after filing a public record with your name on it, using your words, swearing and affirming under penalty of perjury, which is available to everybody on subtexts, docket pages, and everywhere else where you consume your media, is that you're going to be scrutinized. Even if you're beaming in on Zoom. So this communication with the court, to me, as I'm reading it, and again, just an old bag, not a bat, an old bag out here in the world, living my life, is that this had a hell of a lot more to do with it. Good God. Okay, maybe I'm overblowing it. I don't know. I just, what do you guys think? Oh, John Matthias purports to offer diagnosis. And this is just, to me, it's gross, man. Come on, look, don't do that. He's a one-note cowboy. I've said this before. He has the hero's journey. He has Freud, the worst parts of Freud. Just go write a book. Just go be an academic. Just go do that, dude. Okay? Look, you got the bona fides to do that. For real. Nobody's doubting your credentials, bud. Well, just don't drag it into a court of law. That's me. I am a plastic bag flopping it, just an old bag out here in the world. Oh my God. It just, and it wouldn't, and again, just to clarify, I did find some things that were actually true, right? So John was paid, or he was registered under Summit County, or no, I'm sorry, that's a lie. Is that a lie? I can't see this. It's too small for me. My eyes. I'm an old lady. that incorporated in Utah under strife psychology. So yes, sir, you are correct. Check. And he also was paid. So he did do some work for Kane County. And again, all public information, because when you're paid by taxpayer money, right? Which is what this is when you're paid through the county, it's going to be a public record because you have to be confirmed as a vendor, an approved vendor. And so, yay, you got two things here that are true. Yes, you did operate, at least in 2021, for $2,500, probably Kane County. I don't know what's there, doing some sort of analysis. And then also $39, I don't know, I guess for McDonald's maybe, or for dinner. I don't know, spitballing. But so, yeah, we don't doubt you, sir, on that score. What the court, or actually what Christina's lawyer is appropriately objecting to, is your summary and absolutely, let's see, both inappropriate. He purports to offer a diagnosis, and I keep reading this over and over again because I think it gets lost. Everyone's out there screaming, Christina's bad. She did this, 9-hour live. I've been stalked, blurgity blurg. Right? That still exists out there in the world. My God. And I don't care what people say about me. I don't. I really don't. Unless you question certain parts of my integrity or whatever, or my ethics. But generally, I don't give a fuck. But referring to a woman, an actual living and breathing human being, as a stalker repeatedly for 9 hours after your husband put into a public document that he thinks Christina is an antisocial risk. Yuck. Woof. I mean, yick. I don't have enough expletives. I really don't. It's just gross. To me personally, it's unconscionable, but that's me. What do I know? Old bag. Yeah, it's not based on sufficient facts or data. Further, any opinion offered by John Matthias is not reliable, given that he is Lauren Matthias's husband and lacks objectivity and therefore credibility as an alleged expert. Finally, allowing expert testimony in this case would be prejudicial, given the lack of procedural protections. For example, discovery, right? How, sir, are you going to get all this shit into evidence? Like, this should be stricken. I mean, the thing is that, yes, it was dismissed, right? They dismissed it because of law and crime. Bullshit. To me, it's like, this shit should be stricken. And that's probably not a thing, but, and again, it's just like, why does this even exist out there in the world? Right? Yeah. You can't just say shit. What this says, this is layman's terms. Dr. John Matthias, you can't just say shit without showing your credentials. You can't YouTube this. You can't hidden true crime this. You can't super chat this. You can't do any of that shit here in a court of law. Again, I'm just putting it in layman's terms. And I am a layman. I'm a laywoman. Fuck you, patriarchy. Testimony is unreliable, not based on sufficient facts or evidence. And I mean, this paragraph is so rich that and to me, it deserves so much scrutiny, because this should be the story, right? The thing is that right, you can't be a spouse and a doctor at the same time. It's inappropriate. I'm not sure. What's this link? Marty. Football. Yeah. You know, the thing, again, it's just the discovery, right? So procedural protections for Christina, because there's statute, there's a statute, the stalking statute, the code, the Utah code, but then there's the court procedures. And within that is the constitutional right to put on a defense. In order to put on a defense, the defendant needs to be able to access all the information it needs that has been disclosed, right, to put on their case. And that's part of it, is discovery. Going through a discovery process would have been apparently problematic for Hidden True Crime LLC. You want to see what they said about Hendricks? Okay. Oh, John has links. Oh God. Yeah. Fascinating. Okay. Rule 108, 104. Because John Matthias' testimony derives, at least in part, from out-of-court statements that Matthias and others told John Matthias, he is essentially repeating in his declaration. The John Matthias declaration contains inadmissible hearsay to which no exception applies. Right? I mean, to me, it's like, you know, the guy could truly, the declaration to me says he's incapable of self-reflection. And look, again, I'm just some old lady out here in the world. But reading his declaration combined with these objections leads me to my opinion, which is the respondent's lawyer has said, you haven't had personal experience with this. You do not know, Christina. You are listening to hearsay from your wife. You are not objective. Your statement spends all the time talking about your credentials and really driving that home, and basically doesn't describe your experience except for maybe one line. Basically, the message I'm getting is that, sir, this could have been a text message, right? This could have been just a quick phone call. So, basically, they're objecting to everything, and rightfully so, in my opinion. I mean, it's just, and to be clear, you know, when you go on and see the court filings, petitioner, which is Lauren, filed her objections to it, and you can go and spend time looking at that. I'm not, because fuck that shit. Yeah, so basically nothing. So we'll go through Hendricks quickly. How are you guys doing? I'm getting pooped. I'm getting plum tuckered. I don't see any questions. But let's see, Molly Colleen. I'd like to know if he can even call himself a criminal psychologist. I mean, from what I can gather, yeah, because he's testified. I don't know. That part I don't know. I mean, the thing is that I don't know enough Yeah, you know, I don't know enough here about what the training. Well, here's what I do know, and I've used Maggie before as an example. She's my friend whose daughter was murdered, Brittany. She is a licensed clinical psychologist. Her post grad school, her post PhD work was in prisons and working with veterans. And she had to acquire, and this is not something, student teachers, lawyers, whatever, you have to put in your time in your specialization, whatever that might be. For me, that's asylum law, right? So I have to go learn all this bullshit that I'm probably never going to use again and then go into asylum law. It's the same thing for student teachers need to get so many hours in. Maggie had to go and put her time in under supervision in the area that she wanted to specialize in. And she's a trauma psychologist. So she earned that through her post-grad school training. So, depending on where he did his I don't know what you call it. Is it internship? I don't know what it would be, but that's up for debate, I guess. But that would be in discovery, wouldn't it? Oh God, Crusha, I'm so sorry. Calling a 16-year-old murder victim a bitch wasn't even the worst of it. Girl, I mean, that's a whole other thing, right? I mean, yuck. I hate it. So, let me see. What else? Okay, so we'll go quickly just through Hendricks, and then I'm going to wrap it up because I am so, does anyone here believe, Olap says, believe he was, Practicum, thank you, Quinn. Does anyone here believe he was in the Badlands? Oh, yes. Shortcake Girl says, hey everyone, first time in. Oh, welcome. It's nutty in here. Everybody is nice in this chat, right? Thank you. So let's just go through Lauren's thing, and then I gotta hit the bricks. Oh my God, it's 1 o'clock. Are you fuck? Okay, Hendricks' declaration is not actually a declaration because it is not signed. Holy shit. People, God damn it. Okay. I'm going to have to look at this because are you telling me that Daston filed an unsigned? Oh, God. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Is not signed and does not contain verification language required under Utah code. The court should disregard it in its entirety. I mean, you could have stopped there, but Hendricks offers general statements regarding her background as a reporter, the need for reporters to have a thick skin, in her opinion. I mean, she's not fucking wrong. And her opinions regarding Matthias. What were her opinions, right? Describes where Christina was not present and had nothing to do with, right? So then again, they're just throwing shit against the wall. Hendricks' testimony is based primarily on statements from Matthias. Hendricks' testimony lacks foundation. She purports to opine on her experience in journalism, does not lay sufficient foundation to establish her expertise, and does not even attempt to set forth her methodology. Any opinion offered by Hendricks is not reliable, given that she is Matthias's friend and lacks objectivity and credibility as an alleged expert. Wait, was she trying to be a fucking expert? Finally, allowing expert testimony in this case would be prejudicial given it's the same thing. The lack of procedural protections, discovery. So remember, let's remember who has the burden here. It's not, it's the plaintiff here, right? Because Hendrick's testimony derives primarily from out-of-court statements told to Hendricks, and that Hendricks is essentially repeating in her declaration. The Hendricks declaration contains inadmissible hearsay with no exception applies. I mean, right? It's just wild. I mean, it's just wild what they tried to do. So I personally think that it's important that this is part of the story that gets shared, because, you know, I could do a 9-hour live reading through all of the declarations that were filed, right? And all of the objections that were filed. I could do that. Anybody could do that. Hello. But right? It's just it's just bad. It's bad, so bad. Let me just see what you're saying. I'm going through chat. Oh. I don't know, man. It's I don't know. It's frustrating, and it's frustrating just to see how this has been handled. It's just gross, because again, I value the rule of law. I value one's right to put on a fucking defense, and all of the things that you're afforded under the Constitution. It's really is a lot of that. But I do want to say thank you to, I don't know, I said thank you to new member. Again, I don't know what membership's going to look like, but thank you. Tis me, Krista, became a member. Thank you so much. Lots of cat videos in store. Jay was in. She's been a member for 5 months. Okay. We got Christina, who, thank you for jumping into the call and clarifying some things. So I really appreciate all of that. But yeah, so I don't know, man. Making too big of a deal out of it, I don't care. It's my opinion. But I do know that to me there was a real, where is it? Let me see. It's what the judge said so aptly, in my opinion. Let me see if I can bring. I'm trying to bring up his beautiful statement.
I expect the parties to be here in person and have a case, so that motion is denied. Well, I think what the court is looking at is we're trying to get more clarity than a one-sided order that was initially signed. That was based on one-sided information. This is not, again, a stalking injunction is not a remedy for shutting down speech that a person doesn't like somebody saying about it. And it seems like that's what you're trying to do in this case.
I mean, I think that is something that is, the abuse of the law is what the judge is saying. me just do one more thing. Oh, Lord. What are you guys doing today? Wait, I was like, it's Friday. Everybody go have a great weekend. What? No. Good God. Anyway, what's everybody doing for the rest of the afternoon or evening or whatever? I hope you have a good one. My disco ball is still going. My cat is still sleeping. It's hotter than a blowtorch here in the city because it's humid as fuck. But everybody do something fun. Or take a nap, which is also fun.
Expect the parties to be here in person in the case, so that motion is denied. Well, I think what the court is looking at is we're trying to get more clarity than a one-sided order that was initially signed. That was based on one-sided information. This is not, again, a stalking injunction is not a remedy for shutting down speech that a person doesn't like somebody saying about them. And it seems like that's what you're trying to do in this case.